Hello, and welcome to Little Decisions Interviews. I'm your host, Victoria Cooper. Today's guest is someone you've likely met if you've been to the Marigold Market before. She can usually be found under the welcome tent. That's right. Today's interview is with none other than our beloved Miss Sherrie Anderson. To be able to record for you a true experience of the wonderfully kind person that is Sherrie, I needed to block out an entire day. Both of us coined it a day in the life, and what a great day it was. Why such a long interview? Because Sherrie Anderson of Athens could be called the beating heart of the Marigold Market. Officially, Sherrie is the Marigold Market Manager and Executive Director for the Marigold Collective. Sherrie may live in Athens, but her life is in Winterville. Having moved to Athens in 2012, Sherrie has always been passionate about community and people, believing these relationships to be most precious. She follows her connections with people. Sherrie was born and raised in Miami, where she developed a uniquely eclectic sense of home and community. She met Mayor Dodd Farrell at a meeting at the train depot in early 2020. This meeting would change the course of Sherrie's life in so many ways. When the country went into quarantine, Sherrie, newly laid off herself, got to work and was able to successfully launch the Marigold Market in 2020 as an online market with a drive-thru. She effectively relaunched the market again in May 2021 when it opened in person for the first time ever. Sherrie splits her days between selling insurance to pay the bills and working for the Marigold Collective, which is her passion. The Marigold Collective is the Marigold Market, the Marigold Commercial Kitchen, and the Marigold Food Hub, together as sister organizations dependent upon each other. Now, back to Sherrie. My day with her began with the two of us in her kitchen preparing for a workout.
I'm going to do all the things for you that I do for myself.
Okay.
Put a scoop in there.
Okay.
And you can start with this and drink down.
1 scoop?
Well, and you don't have to drink it all right now. You can drink it while we're working out too. It's up to you. I chug it and then
I'm going to chug it because, I don't want to have to worry about it. Because I'll probably just do water while we're working out.
And I have this hydrate that has the electrolytes in it.
Oh, good.
Okay, so I've been doing this, and that's usually what gets me to actually complete the workout because
the energize,
I'm just a week.
Yeah, I am too. I figured this was pre-workout, and I was like, yeah, I'll need some of that. Yeah.
And then this, I just got this week. I used it yesterday for the first time, and it was a total game
That's
changer.
the electrolytes?
Yeah, because just the water wasn't doing it for me.
Mm-mm.
And so somebody was telling me, I use the electrolyte, the hydrate, while I'm working out. And I'm like, and so I did that yesterday. Total game changer. Today, I'm not even sore. So the thing I do is I make this whey thing for myself before I work out, and I put it in the freezer. It's for recovery. So.
Oh, okay.
So I do that, and then I drink it after the workout. And
yeah. I can drink from a salsa jar.
Yeah, I mean.
Now later when I drink it, I'll be like, it's not nacho cheese. It's not nacho cheese.
Today is cardio day.
Okay.
So that's going to be fun to be ever. Sherrie doesn't hide her feelings at all.
No, it's good.
Hey, I want you to meet my friend.
Hi.
This is Victoria. Victoria, this is Grace.
Hi.
So Grace is in the picture.
Which one is she? The anxious one?
She's the old, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like her.
She's the old girl. The devices were in the car. Victoria and I are spending the day together today.
Yep.
And she's going to work out with me, and then we have a meeting at 10:30, and then we have another meeting. And so, so I'm going to go and get busy with all the things. I love you too.
After that phone call with her daughter Grace, Sherrie and I had no more excuses to delay the inevitable. It was time to work out. While all audio from the workout has been destroyed, a hilarious time-lapse video of our bar workout is now available at the Little Decisions YouTube page. Our workout also included an affirmation that I wanted to share. I am ambitious. I set high goals for myself and achieve them purposefully. I am ambitious. I set high goals for myself and achieve them purposefully. After our workout, Sherrie and I attended a meeting related to her work for the Marigold Collective. Andy, Jenny, Shawanda, Laura, Sherrie, and I ended up sitting down for well over an hour, exchanging ideas and brainstorming, supporting and encouraging one another. They were even gracious enough to let me join in on the conversation.
Best batch of coffee for our favorite customer.
No.
Thank you.
Anything else I can get you?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna share that hot sauce with her.
Oh yeah, let me put some on so you can get some.
Alright, you guys have a good day.
Thank you.
too. So I've been wanting to try there. Every time I come, I always try something different.
I'm trying to get
So
better
I'm
about
like,
that
let
at
me try their
restaurants.
wheat along with veggies.
What was your name again?
Amber.
Amber, thank you, Amber.
You're welcome.
Whoa, look at
Actually, everybody
that.
gets some. I forgot. Yeah, I haven't given any out yet.
This is so cute.
I will always take stickers.
Stickers. Stickers.
Okay.
And let's give you that one.
Ew.
Yeah, I know, right? So I realized because the podcast is about kindness. So I was like, I need to do something kind. So I'll give people gifts, stickers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's what people need right now is a podcast about kindness.
Yeah.
I really like the podcast.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do like a circle and like share updates / what's happening with you / what you're working on / anything that seems relevant.
Sounds good.
Sherrie, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can start. So, the market is growing. Like I've got, if every vendor were there, there would be 54.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's 12 farms represented weekly right now.
Wow.
And you know, when I first went into this, I was thinking I want my market to be 75% farmers. That's what I wanted. The goal is having a platform for small farms who don't have the capacity to go to other markets, or who are not accepted in other markets because of their practices, but they do have sustainable practices, they're just not certified or whatever, to have this platform for them to come. And I was so concerned that I wasn't going to get farms. Like that was going to be a big deal. I don't know if you remember that, but I was like, oh my gosh, nobody wants to come. Blah, 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 blah. And now, you know, if every farm was there would be 20. If every farm was represented at one market, there would be 20 farms. And so that's amazing that I haven't had to go do legwork to recruit those farmers. They're coming, the word is getting out and they're coming to us. And city council would love for Winterville, I say us because I'm here, but I don't live here, but anyway, would love to become self-sustainable. And this collective has the potential to help create this local economy. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
And you'll have the co-op table too, right?
Oh yeah.
And we're going to start doubling our EBT this weekend.
How could we potentially get a once a week bus route out here? We're all trying to talk.
We're all too
We're all
polite.
excited.
No, all of us are like us. Like these last couple of weeks has just been crazy. Period.
Just too many donations.
And not enough time to get it out to people has been the problem. And so, and having too much, like as far as like the tomatoes, people only want so many tomatoes at a time. Hold that thought.
Are you okay?
Yes.
She got excited. Just looping me up.
You're killing it, Sherrie. It is so awesome to hear what all y'all are doing with the Marigold Market. Seriously, I am blown away.
I'm blown away. I came over, thinking, I'm just going to help these people get this market started that they want. Last night I got so nervous. I wasn't prepared to speak. I kept saying to Dodd, what do you want me to do? How can I help? Whatever. And then he just calls. He's like, so Sherrie, do you have any words to add? And I should have just said no. But I said, I'm like, yeah. And I got up there. I was like out of breath. So nervous. Trying to say what I had to say real calm. And I was like, oh my gosh, Sherrie, just breathe.
You're doing great.
Just be yourself.
That just means you're excited.
I
People just
was,
read that
yeah.
as excitement.
I hope so, because I am excited about it.
Then, 2 hours and 2 iced coffees later, Sherrie and I finally sat down for the core of our interview.
Tell me your name
Sherrie Anderson, and I don't remember exactly how we met. I know, how did you hear about us?
Through my brother-in-law, Nathan.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
You talked with him.
So yes, and then you talked to me about the podcast thing, and then we met up at the park and did a tour, and we just couldn't stop talking.
I know, it was so fun. I ended up helping that whole day, I think.
I know, it was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
Great.
Yeah, that was good. Well, and it was so funny, too, because I knew right who you were. Like, when I walked up, I was like, you must be Sherrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that was fun. What are 3 key things someone should know about you?
I don't know. That's kind of hard. I have to think about that for a minute.
Take as long as you want.
Relationships are really important to me. So whether it's family relationships or relationships with the community, my philosophy is relationships are all you have that really matter, when it's all said and done. And so everything that I do, like any kind of satisfaction I get or productivity feelings or whatever, is typically around those relationships and helping people or spending time with people, making things happen to bring people together. And I'm very passionate. And passionate's such a good word, but I remember doing a class years ago. It was a little Bible study group, and at the end of this class, we all had to go around and tell other people what we see in them, and hands down, passion was the biggest thing that people said about me. They were like, "You're so passionate about what you believe in. You just and it's contagious, So, yeah, I'm very passionate. I'm very driven,
Yeah.
3 things, though. Relationships, passionate. I will have to think on the 3rd one.
Yeah.
Give me some feedback. What do you think?
So I would say 3 key things that someone should know about you are that you are a very kind person, that you believe in people so much you'll do anything to help them, and you want to help people, not things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
like
does.
there's 2 types of worker people: the people who work for, and this is nothing wrong with them, but they work for the man.
Everybody's needed.
Or they work for a man. You know what I mean? Like there's just a difference, and you are very much on that other side of for the people.
And I think too, if I were to pick a 3rd thing, I would say I'm a safe place. I tend to, I'm not a judging person, and if someone comes to me with a problem with someone else, and then that other person is coming to me, I can see both sides.
Yeah.
And not everybody can do that. I think that's, it kind of helps me to be more objective, I guess. Now when it's in my personal life, that's a different story. But but when it comes to interpersonal relationships, work relationships, I tend to see, I can be that catalyst to kind of mediate and make things run smoothly.
Yeah. Well, and that type of empathy that you have, that comes out, because the type of empathy you have is you believe people based on what they tell you their experience is, not based on what you think it should be, and that's that's the definition of empathy, but to me most people don't meet that definition, and that comes across. So, yeah. So that's why I asked that one, because I was like, I wonder what she'll say.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that makes me feel the best at the market is when someone who hasn't been to the market and it's their first time experiencing it, they come up and they're like, there's such a peaceful, positive atmosphere vibe here. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And so I really am that. Okay, so when I think of empathy, there's people in this world who empathy can go, I think it's more empath, where I can take those feelings and internalize them, and so I have to be very cautious, and maybe that's why I get so drained after the market, because I am an empath. But one of the things that I think about is, just like I can soak in other people's feelings, I can also emit feelings. And so it's really important to me to make sure that when I get to the market that I'm in that place of everything's going to be okay, it's peaceful, we're going to have a lovely day. You know, I put on my Michael Frontian spearhead and get myself in a good frame of mind, you know.
Yeah.
And like the other week when I was like, were you there? Yeah, you were
when
there.
when you found
when
out.
I was upset, yeah.
You found out about your mother-in-law?
Yeah, we had a death in the family, and I had found out 30 minutes before the market, and I was just like, how am I going to get myself together? But it's still, you know, everybody was great, and there were a few of you that know me well enough that you were able to, you know, help me get my focus on. And I think it was a good market, you know.
It was a great day.
I don't think people felt that heaviness from me, you know, but I really just want to spread positivity, peacefulness, you know, that regardless of what's going on in the outside world, there's always something that we can be happy about and have peace. Yeah.
Well, and I think for me, that's the space I was looking for, was a place where kindness already was. But I mean, like, in the forefront. Because, you know, kindness is everywhere. Like, you can find it anywhere if you look hard enough. But sometimes you got to look really hard. You know, and I didn't have to do that when I came to the market. So I think that's what I appreciated. You're absolutely right, that energy. And I think it gives and it gets, you know. So sometimes, like, I think that Saturday, I hope that by you being there, you know, you got what you needed that day. Just because of the way, you know, because that was a rough day. I mean, you found out right before.
Yeah, I was kind of on autopilot. And even this last Saturday, I was on autopilot. There were things that didn't get done. And I just had to embrace the fact that it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, what needs to be done is done. And it's, again, relationships matter. And so I don't know, I heard a motivational speaker one time talk about the relationship is more important than being right, you know, and that's not necessarily apropos for this situation, but still the relationships are what matter. And just being able to, you know, whenever I had to let things go on this past Saturday, because I was just exhausted from the whole week of dealing with the funeral and everything and traveling and all that, and then just being able to be there and be present, and be able to intentionally just put a lid on it in my mind, put it on the shelf and say, okay, I see you there, but then just be able to go in and enjoy the market for what it was, and let it be that escape, if you will. You know, we don't have to escape through substance abuse or TV or video games or whatever other addictions that we may have. You know, you can find solace in socializing and relationships.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Oh, that's a good one. The dogs? No.
Yeah, that's fair.
The dogs.
One is currently sitting right next to me, and the other is close by.
No, my family is most important to me, and knowing that I have their love and support, you know, and then knowing that whatever I'm doing today, whether it's my market job or my other job, whatever it is that I'm doing, it's going to be helping someone meet a need, and that is a big motivator for me. It's not about praise. It's not about tangible, you know, whatever, all of those things. It's about when I see the relief on someone's face, if I've helped them with something, or the excitement or whatever. And you know, because we were talking about that in the car, you know, just seeing people's body language, that they feel validated and they feel like they matter. And that's a very high motivator for me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Can you describe Winterville to someone who has never seen it before or never been there before?
It's kind of like Gilmore Girls meets Andy Griffith.
I love that. That's perfect.
You know, it's like, it's a small community. You got all your different personalities, very quaint, you know, but then it's also Andy Griffith, you know, where, well, both Gilmore Girls and Andy Griffith, that's what they are, you know, and Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls meets Andy Griffith.
I agree. Yeah, because I think it has it, and it also, I like that you use those two in particular because I think it has that old timey feel, but that sort of modern charm too. Yeah, no, I think you're right. That's right on. I would not have picked those two, but that's perfect.
Well, that just came to me on the spot, just so you know. I had not thought about that.
I love it. What do you see as your most important responsibilities to the Marigold market?
Okay, so do we want to talk about it like as far as the Marigold market or is the Marigold collective? I guess would be the question.
Let's do Marigold collective.
Yeah, and we can. So just briefly, the Marigold market is where we started, and that is a weekly market where local producers come together to offer the community what they need. Okay, as far as fresh produce and other wares, and then the collective involves the food hub, which is where food abundance is donated and then redistributed out into the low-income, low-access areas to help them get fresh access to fresh local food. And then we have the commercial kitchen aspect that is coming. It's in process, but then what that's going to allow for us, and that's going to pretty much complete the circle of what I call the collective, the whole circle. They all are interacted and interdependent on each other. None of them there's not one that's more important than the other. They all go together. And the commercial kitchen is going to provide opportunity for us to do food processing, food recovery, making meals, storing fresh produce that we're not able to get out in a timely manner before it goes bad, ways that we can store that and use it in the winter and other months. And then also it will provide incubator opportunity for businesses who want to grow or need commercial kitchen access for their business to do what it needs to do, whether it's hot food, baking, whatever. And even several farmers have voiced their excitement and interest in having a commercial kitchen because every farm has excess, and there's so much to be said for, instead of taking all of that they're not able to get distributed and put it in a compost pile, for them to take a few hours on a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day it is and just rent out the kitchen and then do a bulk storage thing for what they have left over.
Yeah.
And then it helps them. They can create value-added products, or they can just use it for themselves. So as far as my most important responsibilities for that, I'm a facilitator. That's what I see myself as. And what I would like to, my responsibilities fall under helping create this local economy that's going to be self-sustainable regardless of what happens with the rest of the world. And this is a prime time to do this with the pandemic, and that's not even how it started, but this is what it has developed into. And we want to create a system where the relationships are there between the community and the farmers and the producers, so that whenever these situations come up, they still have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And so it's my responsibility to facilitate all of that and make that happen.
That's perfect. Yeah. Well, and I think I always look at the market because I go to the market, but you're right, it's the collective as a whole. And I like the way you said that they're interdependent on one another, that one can't, I think that shows a level of strategic planning that, goes a long way. How has your involvement with the Marigold market, or with the Marigold collective, and Winterville changed you?
Well, since moving to this area, I moved here to Athens in 2012 and struggled, as a single mom, struggled with trying to find viable, gainful employment. I like that term, gainful employment. And it's been a real struggle, especially because I have been a stay-at-home mom for so many years. And getting involved with the Marigold market let me back up a second. So through all these years, I've had relationships come and go with coworkers and such, But when I started getting involved with this particular initiative, it felt like home. It was like, this is why I came to this area. This is why I was brought here, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's got different aspects of their faith or views of their faith. But for me, I believe that God brought me here for such a time as this, that this is my time, this is what he wants me to do. And the people that I'm working with, whether it's Mayor Dodd or the other collaborators, like with Concrete Jungle and Vision Athens, U Garden, UGA Extension, all of these people that it's like it's my briar patch, if you will. It's like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and so it's changed me in that it's really benefited my mental health, because I have purpose. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not just finding a job to pay my bills. I'm finding something that I feel like I'm creating something that's going to last for years to come, even when I'm gone, and we all want to leave a legacy behind us. We don't want to, just live and die. We all want to matter. Not that I want to matter, but I want what I do to matter. I want people to know this is a place where you can go and you can feel included, you can feel loved, and you can get some needs met, some basic needs met. So
yeah, it sounds like what was I just thinking? It sounds like you want people to find that home too. Yeah.
It really has been home, and I live in Athens. I don't live in Winterville, but I'm so close, and at this point, that's where I spend most of my time, is over there. And I just love it. I love everything about it. I love the Firefly Trail. I love the way that it's all set up, all the historical homes. The park is so beautiful. And the heart of the people in leadership there who want to help those, because Athens, Clarke County is one of the poorest counties in the state. And just their heart for meeting those low-income, low-access needs. I've not seen it be so real as I have in Winterville.
Yeah. Well, and food insecurity is that's a dangerous thing for people. It has, I'm not saying that not having a house doesn't have a huge impact too, but it's one of the top issues. Yeah. So I'm glad that there's something there's groups out there addressing it. And just like at the lunch meeting today, I think I just saw such passion for helping people, everyone was coming up with ideas like, well, what about this and what about that, and
right. And it's not like anyone has some political agenda or whatever. You meet these people and they seriously have that passion that everyone deserves fresh food. Everyone deserves to have a nice healthy meal every day, or 3 meals every day, whatever it is. We all deserve. I feel like it's an inalienable right. You shouldn't have to work so hard, and I think, and it's not even so much about work, because I can see somebody saying, well, people choose whatever, but sometimes your work is not enough to provide, and you can still be a hard worker and be poor.
Yeah.
And that's that's where we're at.
Yeah, because what is minimum wage now? It's still, 7 something?
I don't even know.
It's still so low, it's ridiculous. It hasn't been raised in 15 years, I think.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other side story. Okay. All right, so what is your vision for the future of the Marigold Collective? Let's look at it like that.
So I would this kind of goes back to some of the other, I would want to see this become something that is self-sustainable, local economy, that can, like I said, it's self-sustainable. It can sustain itself. It's like a circle of, where everyone is together. And I don't mean in some, new age way or whatever. What I'm saying is, you've got your farms. They're connected to the market and the collective and the food hub, the kitchen and the food hub. You've got your clientele. I would like to see us bring in, as far as bringing in more people from all different classes, if you will, come together in this community atmosphere and they feel welcome. You know, I don't want it to just be upper white class, you know, white middle class, whatever, all of that. I want it to be everybody coming together and feeling welcomed. And then it being something that generates economy. You know, whether it's income for the city, income for the producers, income for the collective, whatever it is, just creating a way for people to take care of themselves and provide for their families.
Oh, I love that. That's great. You know, is there a little decision someone out there could make that could help you kind of achieve that vision?
Well, I think just anybody listening to this, because you're going to have people listening to this who aren't local, find your local farmers and partner with them and support them, because without farms we don't have fresh food.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's so I feel like that's something small that people can do collectively all over, on a more local basis. Just sharing the word out, get the word out there that we're here. You know, it's our first year. I'd like to see it grow as far as meeting those needs, you know, that people have, and having this special place where people can come. I mean, there's the playground, there's trails, it's just such a nice place to be. So I think the little decision is just sharing with others. Hey, let's go check out this market.
Yeah.
You know, let's go check it out.
And then
sharing that on social media or however you share things, just share.
Yeah. I had a customer and a listener who came to the market the week before. We had a great conversation. I had her name was Becky. I had her in the episode, and then the next week she brought her friend back just to introduce people to the market. She's like, these are my friends I've been telling you about. And it was so exciting, and I remembered her, and so then I was like, hey, Becky, did you listen to the episode? You're in it. And she goes, no. And she was so excited, and it was so wonderful that she came back. Like, you know, she was wanting to share. It's an experience for her, and it's an experience for many people, you know.
It is.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I've seen, it's been so nice to watch the relationships grow too. You know, I have a big family, and my favorite thing to do is when they're all together is not necessarily to be in the middle of it, but to be in another room and them just being themselves and just listening and just enjoying their conversations and their debates and their, you know, independent thoughts. But it's the same thing with the market. I love to just sit down and look and see everybody interacting with each other and just having this sense of community. That is, I think it's huge. It's important, and our society has gotten so far away from that, and so we're so lonely. Yeah, we're so lonely, but there's people everywhere, and so I want to overcome that. You know, at our market in the big picture. Yeah.
No, I think that's great. How do you think we can make social media kinder? And there might not be an answer.
Is this like in a general sense?
In a general sense, yeah. A couple of these are just general kind questions.
I think that if people need to exercise more self-control.
Amen.
People say things in that typing context that they would never say out loud vocally. And it's hurtful. You know, I feel like bullying is so much, it can be worse on social media.
Well, because they don't see it as bullying. They just see it as, I'm just typing.
I'm just giving my opinion.
Yeah, you know, I'm allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah. True, but you also need a life, you know.
Yeah.
Go get your own life and work on your own problems, you know. And, that would be my, hands down, just more self-control. Yeah. You know, be kind. Only say things that you would want someone to say to you. Do you want someone to rip you apart? You know, every time you post something, you know, there's nothing wrong with a good debate. What I don't, you know, I think debate is important, but that's healthy conversation, okay? But when you start attacking people on a personal level, that's totally off topic. Yeah. You know, it's like, let's just stay focused on the conversation at hand, and let's don't start calling names and all of this other, you know, stuff. Let's just
Yeah.
Be kind. Say only what you would want someone to say to you, you know.
And I've never understood where people get the energy to be so mean. Like, it's actually exhausting. Like, I guess it is for me. I don't know. Maybe they're just naturally meaner people. I don't know. But I just don't get it.
Yeah, some people are more direct, you know, and
Yeah.
us Southern folk tend to sugarcoat everything to a fault. He's miserable.
Yeah. He was like chewing and chewing and chewing. And I was
He
like,
just
what are you
never
doing?
stops. I have to yell at him half the time.
Yeah.
That's the dog, by the way. He likes to scratch all the time.
He does.
He has a bad habit. But anyway, yeah, just say only what you would want. You know, just the golden rule.
Yeah. I think it's great. You decide to literally kill someone with kindness. How do you do it?
There was, I think again it just goes back to the golden rule. Treat them the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
You know, and if that looks like forgiveness, then forgive.
I like that.
And forgiveness doesn't mean you forget. It means that you don't hold it against them. You know.
Yeah.
And so I remember one time I had gotten let go from a job, and it was a political situation within the organization, and I was devastated because I was a single mom. Like, now what am I going to do? You know, whatever. And then months later, I saw the person who had let me go, and when I saw them, just within my personality, I just was like, oh, hey, you know, because I wasn't holding on to it. Yeah, it was hard for me. But I remember just going up and giving the person a big hug and like, hey, how's it going? You know, and he was like, you're good people. And I did that just out of who I am. I'm not trying to brag right now. I don't mean it like that. I just mean there's something to be said of letting things go, not holding on to a grudge. And it doesn't mean you have to sit down and eat dinner with them all the time, but forgive if you need to forgive, and treat them the way you want to be treated. What does that look like? It looks like being civil. It looks like being polite, you know, and making eye contact and giving a smile. And, you know, you're not saying, okay, walk all over me, but you're saying, okay, I see you there, and I respect you as a human being.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because that's the other thing is I think we all forget sometimes that, like, or at least I feel like people forget sometimes that, like, everyone has just as much a right to exist as everyone else. Like, in the grand scheme of things, I get that other people were born with more than me and other people were born with less than me. But we all have an equal right to live, you know? And I feel like if I remember that, then I'm like, well, who am I to think my needs are more important than anyone else's?
Right.
You know, they're really not. They're equal.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and then kind of in a, you know, ironic kind of way, whenever you exhibit that kindness to someone who has wronged you, when you exhibit that forgiveness, it's going to be one of two things. One, they're either going to realize, oh yeah, this person forgave me, wow, or they're going to be clueless and not even realize that you were holding a grudge in the first place, you know. And either way, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, because you can only change yourself. You can only do what you can do for yourself, and it's not my responsibility to make sure you respond the way that I want you to respond. So if I need to forgive you for something, like, you may not even know you've done it. Does that make sense? You may not even know that you've offended me. And there might come a time where I need to confront a situation. Okay, that's a whole different topic. But in the day-to-day, if I just start giving you a cold shoulder and you don't know what you did, how is that going to affect you? Are you going to be like, wouldn't it be better for me to either deal with it head on and say, hey, I'm having a problem right now. Can we just take a minute, or can we set a time to talk? Or choose to let it go. You know, there's a verse in the Bible that says, love covers over a multitude of sins. And it doesn't mean you're an enabler. but you do know when to cover up, to just overlook it and accept the person for who they are.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like people are complex. You know, like I told you with my bracelet, I wear it because it's got the 7 chakras on it, so it reminds me to be in alignment, and it reminds me that I'm more than one thing. You know, like I can be all of these things at once, and only when I'm all of these things am I really in line and balanced. You know, like that's what it reminds me. Because I'll just forget, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm a bad person because I did this. Like, no, that's one tiny part of me. I have all these other parts. You know, it's at least it's really helped me.
Well, and I don't think anything makes us a bad person. We're all people, and we do things that may be quote unquote good or bad, but we're not good people or bad people.
Yeah,
we're people, and we do things.
No.
Does that make sense?
It does. Well, and that's why I liked that workout today with the affirmations, because I loved
great.
It was. I wish I could remember it. It was. I said it. I said it twice.
Was it I can achieve or I can attain? I'm attaining.
I can achieve my goals when I work with intention, live with intention, or with intention. I can achieve my goals with intention. Something like that. I can't remember. We'll have to look it up. But.
Yeah, it was something like, because it was like reaching.
Yeah.
The whole thing was about reaching, and that we were doing it intentionally.
Yeah, because we're reaching for our goals. I mean, I loved it. Yeah. What is your favorite random act of kindness? So this is like anything, like, you know, you've seen people buy coffee for other people, stuff like that. Like, have you ever seen one that you're like, that's my favorite?
That's a good one. I can think of a lot of different things that I like to see. I love it when I see children playing and somebody gets injured and they help the other person. Like, you know, they're somehow helping the other person. Whenever they're so little and they haven't been, quote unquote, trained one way or the other, and just that innate human nature comes out, that nurturing comes out, you know. Yeah, I like that. I also like it when someone, like, if I can, you know, it doesn't happen often, but when you see someone do something and they're not looking for anyone else to see it, they don't even care, they're just doing it, and they're not looking for any kind of, it's that, like, we have, for example, we've got a couple of gentlemen that help every single week at the market with setup. And Mark, this last week when I got there, Mark had already done almost everything.
Oh, wow.
And I was just, and he's like, he's been there a few weeks, and he's not even, quote unquote, a volunteer. He's, you know, he's with the Master Gardeners.
Yeah.
So he's there.
He gets there at 8. He gets there when me and Cozy get there. Well, Cozy's always been there before me,
and
but yeah.
but he doesn't have to.
No, he gets there early to help.
He could come at 9:45 and be done, because all they do is set up their little table and they answer questions all day long. That's what they do, you know. And he gets there and he puts in that time, and he helps set up all of those tents, lugging them from the building. I mean, he gets a workout.
Yeah.
By the time market starts, I'm like, dude, do you need a cold one? You know, it's like,
yeah, you look tight. Yeah.
But and the same with Michael, from the festival, who comes every week to help with setup and breakdown. You know, and they're not doing it. You know, I guess it's not random, because, you know, they're doing it, but they're not doing it because they want someone to look at them. They're just doing it because it's something that they want to do and they want to be nice.
Or what's his name from Newell Foods, who does the cantaloupe pie?
Oh, no, Raw Foods, yeah.
Yeah, or Newell Foods, sorry. Yeah, he came that one Saturday. He didn't work just to help.
Right.
I mean, that was amazing.
It is amazing, and everybody, and I love watching everybody interact and help that way. But yeah, that was the weekend I had that death in the family, so I forgot about that. But yeah, that was amazing. He just
that was amazing.
like,
I know. He showed up. It was like 1:30, and he shows up, and I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "I still got responsibilities to the market," and I loved that. I really did.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love seeing that camaraderie and group effort. You know, it's kind of like when you think about military and the things that they do to develop that spirit among a group, you know, and doing, and it's like we're building that there at the market.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
kind of got off the topic of random acts of kindness, but
I liked it. Yeah. How do you make your home full of kindness?
I would say we respect each other's space. So, you know, I don't know what you've shared about me before, but I have 8 children. I have 9 grandchildren. I have 3 children who still live at home. One is a senior in college, and then I have one who's going to turn 18 very soon, and then a 15-year-old. And I'm sure you can tell I'm an extrovert by nature. But all 8 of my children are introverts. And sometimes I joke about it. I'm like, I feel sorry for them that they have an extrovert for a mom, because, you know, if I'm out and about and I see somebody I know, I'm like, hey, you know, that I might have met them 10 years ago one time, and I finally remember them. I'll be like, hey, and they're looking at me like, who are you? And my kids are like, don't talk, and hiding their faces and stuff. And so I would say, like, within the home, it's respecting that they need that space to unwind. You know, I'm not offended if they spend their time in their room with the door shut, you know, because they need that space to recharge because they're introverts, you know. And then one of the things, whenever I first became a single mom, I don't know if this is off topic or not, but there was a fear of expression before. And as I was leaving that day that I left, before I even pulled out of the driveway, I told everybody to look at me, because I had the kids in the rearview mirror. There were 6 of them at the time. And I said, from now on, you can say anything, and it's okay. And I think that's very important and very kind, to have a place where you can express yourself and it's safe. And also understand that my rights end where yours begins. So if I'm angry, I can still express my anger, but I need to watch how I express it.
Yeah.
I don't need to invade your physical, emotional, or mental space when I'm expressing my anger. And so just having a space where we can say anything and work through it, or say nothing and work through it.
Yeah.
I would say that's how I made my home kind.
Yeah, and that's really, really powerful. That's really, yeah, my kids know they can say anything too. And my kids also know, because I've told them before, that they'll be believed. I've told them, because when I was a kid, I went to an adult one time and told them something, and I wasn't believed. And it went on. And that's, you know, I don't hold resentment towards that adult, because I get what I was saying. I get the age I was at, and I get how scary it was. But I was the kid, and I was the one saying it. And I think what hurt so much is I wasn't believed. And so I carried that with me for a long time, that, you know, well, no one will believe me on anything, so why not just lie? So when I had my girls, as soon as they became old enough, I tried to start communicating to them, like, you can come to mommy and I will believe you. You know, I might have to process it. I might not like it, but I will believe you. You know,
one of the things that's hard for me is when I see one of them struggling with something, I want to fix it. I want to know what it is. And I've had to learn that it's okay for them not to tell me.
Yeah.
You know, and the other day there was a situation with one of my kids, and they were just really upset, and I was like, what's wrong? And it was just a shutdown, and there were no words, and then I wanted, you know, as a mom, you want to comfort, but I said, is it okay if I touch you? No. You know, that was the answer, no. And it was so hard for me in that moment to not hug the child, to not pursue what's wrong. But for me to have done those two things that on appearance's sake might look loving, it would have been completely selfish. Because I only wanted to know, like, I didn't want to, like, if I would have kept pursuing it.
Yeah.
If I would have kept pursuing, tell me, then it becomes selfish because it's what I want and not what they want.
Or what they need. Yeah.
And I wanted to give affection. They said no. So if I insist then on giving that hug, then that's selfish. It's me taking and not giving. And I think that's, like, if I could go back to a younger self, I would say, always ask, always affirm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, consent is powerful. Well, and I think we don't realize that, like, because with my girls, I've always told them too, and this especially when they're younger. I mean, because they're 6 and 9. But, you know, if you don't want to give someone a hug, you don't have to. You know, I would like you to be respectful when you say no. Just to say, no, I'm not hugging you. Say, I'm not in the mood for a hug right now or something. You know, like, I tried to teach them ways to say it in a respectful way so no one's feelings are hurt. But I've had to step in before with an adult, and I was like, she said no. You know, and I had that look of, like, do we want to go any further? Because Mama Bear is here now.
Right.
But, you know, and it was like a family member, but it was, she didn't want to do it, you know, and it was my younger one who's an introvert. And she was overwhelmed at the time, and I knew it, and I knew that hug would have, like, sent her over the edge. And she knew it too, you know, and me protecting her, like, I mean, it was the best decision I made that day, but, you know, sometimes we hurt people's feelings.
Something else too, where I realized it's better to ask permission than forgiveness, is usually when my kids go to their dad's for the summer, I will deep clean everything, you know, and I'll go in their rooms and I'll tidy up this and that and the other. And this year I didn't do that. I just didn't have the time. And I was talking with, I have 3 daughters, and 2 of them are grown on their own, and one still lives at home. And I was talking to my 2 grown daughters, and I was telling them how I hadn't had time to do that. And the middle one, she said, you know, Mom, it's kind of a love-hate thing, because I enjoyed coming home to a clean room, but it made me really uncomfortable knowing that you were in my room going through my things, cleaning it up. Even though she knew that I would respect her privacy, it was still her space. And so now I'm like, can I help you with your room? You know, is it okay? Like, is it okay with you if I handle A, B, C, D, E? You know, whatever it is. And if they're like, no, I got it, or if they're like, oh yeah, that would be great, you know, then I know that they want the help. But, you know, just learning that unsolicited help may not be help. Unsolicited advice may not be advice. You know, and just, I'm not saying my children have to run me, because I know there's people out there, oh no, you're the parent, you take charge. But I look at it as more of gentle parenting, you know, and mine are all teenagers and adults now. So I think as parents, we move from a place of authority to a place of advice, if you will. You know, we want to grow that relationship into something where you're there for advising them, but they don't have to do what you say. They are free moral agents and can make their own decisions. And so if they, you know, does that make sense? Yeah, no, that does. Yeah, that was perfect. Well, I like that too, because I can't teach my kids everything. I just want to teach my kids how to be adaptable, so that, you know, they're prepared for anything. You know, like, so it's the same type of idea, I think. But by letting the kids be autonomous, letting them have agency over themselves, even at a younger age, where most people are like, no, you gotta wait. Because it's weird to me that we're like, no, you're a kid, and then the minute they turn 18, like that day, they're like, you're an adult now. I'm like, okay, well, yesterday I was a kid, and today, like, that never made any sense to me. I'm like, we don't, you gradually give them more responsibilities. And I know we do that, but I still feel like some people don't. You know, like my mother went through my mail until I was in my 20s. And I was like, this is, first of all, it's illegal, you know. And second, though, it was a privacy thing. And she was like, well, you're my daughter. It's like, I'm in my 20s. Don't go through my mail.
Like, what in the world?
Yeah,
But it was, yeah.
I totally understand that.
Yeah. Okay, I got one more question.
Yeah.
So being kind to yourself is just as important as being kind to others. So how are you kind to yourself these days?
How am I kind to myself these days? I would say I take a nap when I feel like taking a nap, and I don't feel guilty about it.
Good.
You know, I'm getting older. I'm starting to go through menopause. It's a struggle, and I have no shame in saying I'm going through menopause. I don't care. I have my body. I'm so thankful for my body. I'm not necessarily happy with where my body is at, but I want to take care of this outer shell so that I can live a long life. And so I would say rest and exercise are two things that are really a priority for me at this point in my life, and nutrition. Those three things: rest, exercise, and nutrition. Just trying to really focus on, it's okay for me to take care of myself. It's okay for me to take time to take a little nap if I need one to recharge. It's okay to go to bed early if I need to. It's okay to exercise. And I know some people will be like, what? But I had to give myself permission to exercise, because if I don't say that it's okay for me to exercise, I think that all these other things have to get done, and whatever I need for myself is last.
Yep.
And if I don't start putting some things, making those things a priority for myself, then I'm only hurting myself.
Yeah, you're only making it harder down the road.
And then it makes it hard on the family as well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to learn to take care of myself and be kind and be gracious and forgiving of myself, and telling myself at the end of the day, you've done everything that you could do today and you did a good job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And look in the mirror and say, I love you, you're amazing, you know?
I have to, so I was telling you this yesterday, I'm getting kinder to myself, but I haven't always been kind to myself. I have not said you are amazing in the mirror until recently. I would say other A words. But I think that was just I had a lot of conflicting ideas about myself, and I had to resolve those, because the brain doesn't like two things that conflict to exist in the same time, even though they do, because we're complex creatures, but the brain doesn't like it. So, my brain in particular hated it. So it was like, okay, I hate this, so I'm just going to hate you. But the you is the me, so it was,
right.
and I would struggle.
I check in with myself now, and Sherrie is not just this 50-something-year-old person standing here. There's 50 plus years of me that exist inside of me. And there's some key times in my life where I was afraid or unheard or scared or traumatized, whatever, all of the words that you think of that are sad and not necessarily good words. And I've learned, I remember right before my divorce, when I realized that things were not going to get better and they were only going to continue to get worse. I remember spending a long time looking in the mirror in silence. And I remember getting so close to the mirror so that all I could see was my eyes, and thinking, where are you? Where is Sherrie? I was so lost. I did not even know who I was. And now when I look in the mirror, I can see there's certain ones of me, if you will, not that I have multiple personalities, but schizophrenia.
Yeah,
but,
you see several Sherries in the mirror now.
But I see different ones of me.
Yeah.
And I see, where they feel heard and they feel safe and they feel believed, and they and going back through and trying to heal those parts of me, and sometimes that reflection looks like me taking some time to be still which I love to do at the end of the day rather than the beginning of the day, because if I do it in the beginning of the day, I'm just going to fall back asleep. But if I do it at the end of the day, I feel like sunrises are for morning people, sunset is for night people, you know. But as human beings, if we don't reflect, and this is kind of another little rabbit trail, but then we're no different than animals, you know. And that's what those quiet times are for, whether it's the morning hours or the evening hours when all of the birds are singing or the crickets are singing and the sun is starting doing its thing and it's so beautiful. It's a reminder to reflect, to stop and reflect. What happened today? What makes today different than yesterday? What can I do to make tomorrow different than today? And what can I learn from today? And so sometimes what that looks like for me is, as I'm reflecting, is those other ones of me are sitting there with me, you know, and we're just chilling out. You know, we might be on a boat. We might be in a meadow with some wildflowers, picking wildflowers, you know, or we might be swinging on a swing set, whatever. But there's always something where it's like I'm actually like, hey, how's it going? How did you feel today about today? You know, or how, like my 5-year-old self, how did you feel about today? Did you stand up? You know, did I stand up for us? Did I protect us? Did I advocate for us? Do you feel heard? You know, and all of those different things. And, you know, and an older one of me, do you feel safe today? Did you feel safe today? And that's how I can kind of check in and say, okay, this is what I need to do different, you know, or that did work, so we're going to do that again. And I think that's probably that's the biggest way.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. You reminded me of an interesting question, but I don't know if there's an answer to this. But I was reading something, and they said, isn't it interesting that 99% of the animal kingdom shows their teeth to show their dominance, but we smile, so we show our teeth that way to show affection. I wonder what that means. Like that, I think it means we're naturally kind.
I think it means that, right, and we were built for relationship.
Yes.
We're built for relationship.
We're built to communicate, to have that connection with people, to build that community. Yeah. That's why I like that, you know, the podcast represents kindness, connection, and community, because I think that's kind of what we're built for.